Welcome to the shadows of the wilderness. Welcome, fellow seekers of the supernatural and lovers of the great outdoors, to Whispers in the Wild, your gateway to the mysterious and macabre hidden within America's most beautiful landscapes. As we gather here tonight, surrounded by the comforting glow of our screens, we embark on a journey that transcends the boundaries between the natural world and the realm of the unknown. This channel has become a sanctuary for those who feel the pull of ancient energies, who sense that there's more to our wild spaces than meets the eye, and who crave authentic stories that make the forest floor tremble beneath their feet. Tonight, we're venturing deep into the heart of America's wilderness to explore a particularly fascinating aspect of paranormal activity, the eerie realm where nature and spirits intertwine. Across the United States, countless campgrounds have earned reputations not just for their stunning vistas or exceptional hiking trails, but for something far more chilling: their haunting histories. These outdoor sanctuaries serve up more than just breathtaking views and star-filled nights. They offer encounters with entities from another dimension, ghostly campers who refuse to break camp, and spectral wildlife that continues to roam long after their mortal forms have vanished. What makes haunted campgrounds so uniquely compelling is their paradoxical nature. They are places of peace and recreation, yet simultaneously serve as portals to the past, where echoes of tragedy, violence, and untimely deaths linger in every shadowy glade. The crackle of campfires might be accompanied by the sound of phantom footsteps, while the rustling of leaves could mask the mournful wails of those who can't move on. In these spaces, the veil between worlds seems particularly thin, allowing us to glimpse, and sometimes interact with, what lies beyond. As we explore America's most haunted campgrounds, we'll uncover stories that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the afterlife. From colonial-era encampments that witnessed revolutionary battles to Native American burial grounds concealed beneath modern recreational areas, each location carries its own unique brand of terror. We'll meet campers who felt icy hands brush against theirs during midnight hikes, park rangers who've watched tents collapse without explanation, and security cameras that have captured inexplicable phenomena when no one was supposed to be around. So, grab your flashlight, dim the lights, and prepare yourself for an evening of stories that will leave you both fascinated and thoroughly unsettled. Whether you're a skeptic seeking evidence, a believer looking for validation, or simply someone who enjoys a good scare under the stars, you've come to the right place. Let's raise our marshmallow roasting sticks, literal or metaphorical, to the spirits among us, and begin our journey through America's most haunted campgrounds. The Whispering Pines, a Michigan mystery nestled deep within Michigan's Upper Peninsula, the Whispering Pines campground stands as a haunting testament to nature's dual capacity for beauty and terror. Established in 1923 by the Civilian Conservation Corps, this sprawling woodland retreat spans over 500 acres of dense pine forest, pristine lakes, and rugged terrain. What began as a simple recreational area for local families evolved into something far more sinister following a series of tragic events that would forever change its character. The campground's association with the infamous Black River Massacre of 1937, where a group of campers fell victim to a mysterious illness that left no survivors, adds layers of intrigue to its already complex history. The physical space itself bears witness to decades of joy and sorrow. Original log cabins, darkened by years of exposure to harsh winters and summer storms, line the perimeter of the main camping area. Their weathered wood panels seem to absorb the sounds of laughter and screams alike, creating an unsettling acoustic environment where normal camping noises often transform into something more ominous. Most striking is the central clearing, known locally as the Circle, where the ill-fated 1937 camping party made their last stand. Today, visitors report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread when approaching this area, regardless of the time of day or weather conditions. Current campers at Whispering Pines have become accustomed to sharing their wilderness experience with unseen companions. Rangers routinely find themselves shortchanged by an invisible hand reaching into their cash boxes at the registration desk, while maintenance staff report tools being lifted from their grasp as they navigate the wooded trails. The most consistent manifestations occur near Lake Spectre, named for the numerous sightings of ghostly figures walking across its surface in the moonlight. Campers seated near the lake's edge often complain of feeling an intense pressure on their shoulders, as if someone were standing directly behind them, even when completely alone. Several documented incidents have cemented Whispering Pines' reputation among paranormal enthusiasts. In 2008, a professional photography team captured an image of a family of 4 standing on the empty beach of Lake Spectre, despite all accounts confirming that no such people had entered the campground that evening. Security footage from multiple occasions shows the antique bell tower, installed in 1946 to warn of forest fires, ringing spontaneously during dead calm weather when no breeze could possibly have moved its clapper. Perhaps most disturbing are the recurring apparitions of the Bray family, believed to be the victims of the 1937 massacre, who appear in various campsites wearing period clothing and carrying picnic baskets, only to disappear without a trace when approached. The current management, the Anderson family, have embraced the campground's haunted history while maintaining its status as a beloved recreational destination. Their approach strikes a delicate balance between acknowledging the supernatural occurrences and preserving the establishment's natural beauty. Regular events like the annual Ghost Lantern Hike draw both skeptics and believers, offering a safe space for visitors to share their own paranormal experiences while enjoying the crisp autumn air and spectacular fall foliage. The Andersons have even established a spirit journal, where campers can document their encounters, creating a comprehensive record of activity that spans over 3 decades. Scientific investigations by various paranormal research teams have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging has repeatedly detected cold spots throughout the campground, particularly concentrated in areas associated with historical tragedies. Electromagnetic field readings spike erratically near the old ranger station, often coinciding with audible phenomena like distant voices and the sound of children laughing. Notably, attempts to measure these anomalies using standard equipment frequently result in equipment failure or inexplicable data corruption, suggesting that whatever presence inhabits Whispering Pines actively resists scientific scrutiny. Despite its haunted reputation, Whispering Pines continues to thrive as a popular camping destination. Locals treat the paranormal activity almost as an eccentric relative, occasionally disruptive, sometimes unsettling, but ultimately accepted as part of the campground's unique character. The site's popularity has actually increased since embracing its ghostly inhabitants, with visitors traveling from across the country to experience both its natural beauty and its otherworldly residents. This harmonious coexistence between the living and the dead creates a truly singular atmosphere, where the boundary between past and present dissolves with each crackling campfire and each whispered story shared beneath the ancient pines. A Wyoming wilderness enigma. Deep within the Medicine Bow National Forest of Wyoming lies the Devil's Playground, a remote campground shrouded in mystery and malevolent energy that defies rational explanation. Established in 1918 by pioneering conservationists, this high-altitude retreat sits at an elevation of 9,200 feet, where jagged granite peaks pierce the sky and ancient bristlecone pines twist their gnarled branches toward the heavens. Originally intended as a haven for nature enthusiasts and mountaineers, the campground quickly gained a reputation for something far darker following a series of unexplained disappearances in the early 1920s that remain unsolved to this day. The Devil's Playground earns its ominous name from both its dramatic landscape and the sinister legends surrounding its creation. Local Arapaho tribes speak of a sacred battle between spirit warriors that scarred the earth itself, leaving behind strange rock formations that resemble twisted faces when viewed from certain angles. These formations, scattered throughout the campground, emit low-frequency vibrations detectable only by sensitive audio equipment, creating an unsettling hum that some claim affects human brainwave patterns. Most disturbing are the petroglyphs discovered in 1934, depicting scenes of ritualistic sacrifice and warnings against trespassing on forbidden ground. Campers at the Devil's Playground report experiencing phenomena that challenge conventional understanding of hauntings. The most prominent manifestation occurs in what's known as the Wailing Chasm, a narrow canyon where wind patterns create unearthly howls reminiscent of human screams. However, recordings reveal these sounds persist even during periods of complete atmospheric stillness. Visitors attempting to pitch tents in this area often find their stakes bending inward as if caught in an invisible vice grip, while experienced climbers report their gear malfunctioning inexplicably when scaling nearby cliffs. The campground's history holds several documented cases of extreme paranormal activity. In 1974, an entire Boy Scout troop vanished without a trace during an overnight camping trip, leaving behind only their untouched supplies and a series of cryptic carvings in nearby trees. Search parties reported hearing disembodied voices calling out in perfect English, though none of the missing boys spoke the language fluently. More recently, in 2012, park rangers discovered a family's tent shredded into precise geometric patterns, with their belongings arranged in elaborate sigils across the forest floor, patterns matching those found in ancient occult texts. Perhaps most terrifying are the reports from lone hikers who venture beyond the designated camping areas. Many describe encountering a figure known only as the Watcher, a shadowy presence that maintains perfect distance regardless of speed or direction traveled. Devices in these instances display erratic readings, showing locations miles away from actual position or depths below sea level that shouldn't exist in mountainous terrain. Several hikers have returned with physical markings resembling ancient symbols burned into their skin, accompanied by partial memories of participating in rituals they cannot explain. Management at the Devil's Playground approaches these supernatural occurrences with a mixture of caution and respect for local traditions. Warning signs now mark particularly active areas, advising visitors to avoid certain trails after sunset or during full moons. Rangers conduct regular patrols armed with both traditional safety equipment and items blessed by local tribal elders, including specially prepared sage bundles and protective amulets. Despite these precautions, staffing remains a constant challenge, with many employees requesting transfers after encountering phenomena they cannot logically explain. The campground's haunted reputation has become an integral part of its identity, attracting curious adventurers and paranormal researchers alongside its regular visitors. The U.S. Forest Service has implemented strict regulations requiring all campers to check in and out formally, maintaining detailed logs of visitor movements and experiences. Some veteran staff members believe that documenting these encounters helps maintain harmony between the natural and supernatural elements of the space, though they acknowledge that true understanding may forever elude human comprehension. This wilderness haunting presents an intriguing contrast to more conventional ghost stories, where spirits manifest through recognizable human behaviors or emotions. At the Devil's Playground, the supernatural force appears to operate according to rules entirely alien to human perception, manipulating both physical reality and consciousness in ways that defy scientific measurement. Even the most skeptical visitors find themselves questioning their basic assumptions about reality when confronted with phenomena that consistently breach the boundaries of what should be possible in the natural world. Gettysburg Battlefield Campground in the rolling hills of south-central Pennsylvania. The Gettysburg Battlefield Campground stands as a solemn reminder of one of America's bloodiest chapters, where the ghosts of war continue their eternal struggle amidst the tranquility of modern camping life. Established in 1962 on land adjacent to the official Gettysburg National Military Park, this 100-acre campground occupies ground that witnessed some of the fiercest fighting during the pivotal three-day battle in July 1863. While officially outside the protected battlefield boundaries, its soil absorbed the blood of thousands, creating a psychic imprint that refuses to fade with time. The campground's haunted reputation stems primarily from its proximity to the infamous Pickett's Charge, where Confederate forces made their desperate assault across open fields toward Union positions on Cemetery Ridge. Current campsite 47 marks the exact spot where General Lewis Armistead fell mortally wounded, his outstretched hand marking the furthest advance of the Confederacy. Campers occupying this site often report hearing the distinct sound of drumbeats and officers shouting commands, even though the nearest reenactment groups maintain a respectful distance of several miles. Staff members speak of witnessing ghostly soldiers marching in formation across empty fields, their spectral uniforms glowing faintly in the moonlight. Beyond military specters, the campground hosts a veritable army of civilian ghosts connected to the battle's aftermath. The Angel of Gettysburg, believed to be a nurse who worked tirelessly in the field hospitals, haunts the shower facilities, her presence announced by the sudden appearance of ice-cold water and the scent of antiseptic chemicals. More concerning are the reports of child spirits playing near the playground equipment, believed to be the victims of collateral damage during the battle's chaotic opening hours. Parents have captured photographs showing children in period dress swinging on empty swings or sliding down slides when no physical children were present. The campground's administrative building, originally constructed in 1889 as a private residence, harbors its darkest secrets. Historical records indicate that the basement served as a temporary morgue during the battle's immediate aftermath, storing hundreds of bodies awaiting identification and burial. Paranormal investigators have documented significant electromagnetic disturbances in this area, along with unexplained temperature fluctuations and disembodied whispers speaking in multiple languages. Maintenance staff working late-night shifts often refuse to enter the basement alone, citing feelings of suffocation and overwhelming grief that permeate the space. These haunting elements combine to create an atmosphere of palpable tension throughout the campground. Campers regularly report seeing shadowy figures moving through their tents at night, while others have witnessed their campfires extinguishing themselves only to reignite moments later with blue flames. The most frequent occurrence involves the American flag flying at the entrance, which sometimes begins waving violently despite complete absence of wind, accompanied by the sound of distant cannon fire echoing across the valley. Management at Gettysburg Battlefield Campground has adopted a unique approach to dealing with the supernatural inhabitants. Rather than attempting to exorcise or ignore the phenomena, they've incorporated the haunting into the camping experience. Special History and Hauntings. Weekends feature guided tours highlighting specific haunted areas, while educational programs explain the historical context behind each manifestation. The campground maintains a detailed log of paranormal occurrences, adding to a growing body of evidence that suggests the site serves as a nexus point for spiritual activity connected to the battle. This sophisticated haunting presents an intriguing contrast to more visceral encounters found in other haunted locations. The ghosts of Gettysburg seem to maintain the same level of military discipline and purpose expected of their living counterparts, creating an atmosphere where the supernatural feels almost organized. Even the most skeptical visitors find themselves standing at attention under the watchful eyes of entities who clearly remember their final orders. Whether serving as a backdrop for historical education or intimate family gatherings, Gettysburg Battlefield Campground continues to function as a meeting place where the boundaries between past and present dissolve with each crackling campfire and each whispered story shared beneath the stars. The Lost Cabin Trail, a California conundrum in the heart of California's Sierra Nevada mountains, the Lost Cabin Trail Campground stands as a monument to frontier resilience and its shadowy underside. Established in 1849 during the height of the gold rush, this remote wilderness area quickly became a haven for prospectors and pioneers seeking fortune in the rugged terrain. Its original designation as a stagecoach stop along the Carson Trail masked a darker purpose. The trailhead leading to Lost Cabin Trail served as a shortcut for those transporting gold shipments, making it a prime target for bandits and highwaymen operating in the region. The campground's haunted reputation centers around several key figures from its pioneer past. Most prominent is the ghost of Sarah, Mountain Rose, Thompson, a notorious stagecoach robber turned folk hero whose beauty attracted both admirers and enemies. Executed in 1853 for her crimes, Sarah maintained a private campsite where she allegedly buried her ill-gotten gains before her capture. Current campers report feeling an unseen presence watching them during evening campfires, often accompanied by the distinct smell of gunpowder and wild roses. Some have even claimed to see a woman in period clothing reflected in still pond water, though no such person exists in the physical space. Equally troubling are the manifestations attributed to the victims of the Lost Cabin Massacre of 1856. During a particularly brutal winter, a group of stranded miners sought refuge in an abandoned cabin along the trail, only to be ambushed by a rival gang. Their presence manifests through sudden bursts of blizzard-like conditions, despite clear weather forecasts. Campers sleeping in sites 12 through 15 often report feeling phantom snowflakes melting on their faces, accompanied by the metallic tang of blood filling the air. Security cameras have captured images of men in tattered mining gear staggering through the camp, their faces pale and frozen, before dissipating into nothingness. The network of abandoned mine shafts surrounding the campground harbor their own collection of spirits. Maintenance staff working on trail maintenance report hearing the distinct sound of pickaxes striking rock, though mining operations ceased over a century ago. The most disturbing encounters involve a group of shadowy figures observed huddled around invisible campfires, warming phantom hands and exchanging unheard words in low, conspiratorial tones. Attempts to photograph these gatherings result in corrupted images or complete darkness, regardless of available light sources. Music plays a crucial role in the Lost Cabin Trail's haunting, with ghostly performances occurring during both active and inactive hours. Musicians participating in the campground's summer concert series have reported their instruments playing themselves during sound checks, producing melodies reminiscent of long-dead folk singers who once entertained weary travelers. The campground's historic piano, originally owned by a wealthy prospector, frequently emits discordant notes when unattended, as if an invisible performer struggles to master its keys. Most chilling are the nights when the entire amphitheater seems to come alive, with instrument cases opening and closing of their own accord while sheet music flutters through the air like restless spirits searching for their proper place. Management at Lost Cabin Trail approaches these supernatural occurrences with a mixture of reverence and practicality. While maintaining the campground's status as a premier wilderness destination, they've implemented subtle modifications to accommodate their ghostly patrons. Certain campsites remain permanently reserved for special guests, while specific maintenance procedures honor the traditional paths and hiding spots used during the Gold Rush era. The current owners, descendants of the original settlers, view these manifestations as essential components of the campground's character, proof that the spirit of California's frontier days lives on in more ways than one. Visitors to Lost Cabin Trail often describe an overwhelming sense of stepping back in time, where the line between historical reenactment and genuine paranormal experience blurs into insignificance. Regular campers speak of feeling watched by unseen eyes during hikes, while newcomers frequently mistake spectral manifestations for costumed actors until their ethereal nature becomes unmistakable. This seamless integration of California's pioneer past with its natural beauty creates an atmosphere where the supernatural feels not only possible but inevitable, transforming each visit into a potential encounter with history's forgotten players. An Appalachian enigma in the mist-shrouded mountains of West Virginia. The Shadow Lake Retreat Campground stands as a testament to nature's enduring mysteries and humanity's darkest impulses. Originally established in 1912 by the eccentric millionaire industrialist Charles Whitmore as a private hunting lodge, the property transformed into a public campground in 1948 following Whitmore's mysterious disappearance. His obsessive interest in the occult and rumored involvement with secret societies left indelible marks on the landscape, both physically and metaphysically, creating an environment where the boundaries between reality and nightmare blur dangerously close. The campground's most prominent haunting manifests through what locals call the veil phenomenon. Visitors report entire sections of the forest temporarily disappearing from view, replaced by stark, colorless versions of the same landscape. These dimensional shifts occur most frequently near the lake's northern shore, where Whitmore allegedly conducted his most controversial experiments. Current campers describe watching trees and rocks fade into negative space silhouettes before reappearing minutes later, sometimes rearranged in impossible configurations. Rangers have documented cases where entire families vanished for hours, only to reappear claiming they'd been gone mere minutes, with no memory of any time lapse. Equally disturbing are the manifestations attributed to the Whitmore Collective, a group of 7 individuals who disappeared with the industrialist in 1947. Their presence manifests through synchronized phenomena affecting multiple campers simultaneously. Entire loops of campsites experience identical poltergeist activity at precisely the same moment, tents collapsing inward, coolers floating off the ground, and campfires extinguishing themselves in perfect unison. Most alarming are the reports of shadowy figures observed moving through the woods in formation, their movements perfectly coordinated despite lacking visible communication or leadership. The underground cavern system discovered in 1952 beneath the campground's main office harbors its most sinister secrets. Originally marketed as a tourist attraction, the caves were sealed off in 1968 following a series of disappearances among spelunking groups. Maintenance staff working in the basement report hearing overlapping voices speaking in unknown languages, though no living speakers exist within miles. The most disturbing encounters involve campers emerging from seemingly ordinary hiking trails, claiming to have spent days exploring vast underground cities filled with impossible architecture and technology far beyond human capability. Music plays a crucial role in Shadow Lake's haunting, with ghostly symphonies occurring during both active and inactive hours. The campground's resident wildlife participates in these spectral concerts, with birds singing complex harmonies and wolves howling in perfect pitch. Most chilling are the nights when the entire forest seems to resonate with a single, sustained note that defies measurement or classification. Sound engineers have attempted to record these phenomena, only to discover their equipment capturing frequencies that shouldn't exist in nature, causing severe headaches and disorientation in anyone listening too closely. Management at Shadow Lake Retreat approaches these supernatural occurrences with a mixture of scientific curiosity and cautious respect. They've established a permanent research station staffed by paranormal investigators and quantum physicists, creating what they term controlled interaction zones, where campers can safely experience the campground's unique phenomena. Certain areas remain strictly off-limits, marked by biohazard signs rather than typical campground warnings, while specific protocols govern behavior during periods of heightened activity. The current administrators view these manifestations as opportunities for groundbreaking discoveries about the nature of reality itself. Visitors to Shadow Lake often describe an overwhelming sense of existing simultaneously in multiple dimensions, where familiar landmarks appear subtly altered or duplicated. Regular campers speak of developing shadow sight, perceiving parallel versions of themselves performing different actions in the same space. Newcomers frequently report experiencing temporal distortions, watching events unfold in reverse or observing multiple outcomes of the same action occurring simultaneously. This seamless integration of quantum physics with supernatural phenomena creates an atmosphere where conventional understanding of time and space becomes irrelevant, transforming each visit into a potential breakthrough in human consciousness. Understanding haunted campgrounds. The phenomenon of haunted campgrounds transcends mere folklore or isolated incidents, revealing patterns and commonalities that illuminate deeper truths about the intersection of human history and supernatural activity. At the core of these manifestations lies the concept of environmental memory, the idea that natural spaces absorb and retain emotional imprints from significant events. In establishments like Gettysburg Battlefield Campground and Shadow Lake Retreat, the repeated occurrence of violent deaths, intense emotions, and historical significance creates what paranormal researchers term spiritual anchors. These anchors serve as focal points for residual energy, explaining why certain areas within these campgrounds consistently produce stronger paranormal activity than others. The geography and ecology of haunted campgrounds play a crucial role in amplifying supernatural phenomena. Natural features such as caves, mineral deposits, and water sources seem particularly conducive to retaining and transmitting psychic energy. The basements of structures like the administrative building at Gettysburg Battlefield Campground, with their proximity to Earth energy lines and lack of modern interference, act as natural amplifiers for paranormal activity. Similarly, the use of reflective surfaces in nature, such as lakes and ponds, creates dimensional portals that some believe allow easier passage between realms, explaining the frequency of reflective apparitions in these spaces. Cultural and historical contexts further influence the nature of hauntings in campgrounds. During periods of conflict and expansion, wilderness areas served as both refuge and battleground, creating environments ripe for tragedy and secrecy. The stress, fear, and adrenaline associated with survival in harsh conditions left lasting impressions on these spaces, imprinting them with energies that persist long after the original events ended. This explains why establishments like Devil's Playground and Lost Cabin Trail exhibit similar patterns of ghostly activity related to escape routes, hidden shelters, and sudden violence, themes directly tied to their historical functions. Human psychology plays an equally vital role in perpetuating and interpreting these hauntings. The communal nature of campgrounds, where strangers gather to share stories and experiences, creates fertile ground for the transmission of paranormal narratives. When combined with factors like sleep deprivation and isolation from urban environments, conditions proven to alter perception and increase suggestibility, these environments become perfect incubators for shared supernatural experiences. The phenomenon known as collective consciousness haunting often manifests in campgrounds, where multiple witnesses independently report identical details about encounters, strengthening the credibility of paranormal claims while simultaneously blurring the line between objective reality and collective hallucination. Modern technology has provided valuable tools for documenting and analyzing paranormal activity in campgrounds, though it often raises more questions than answers. EMF meters consistently detect abnormal readings in haunted areas, particularly near sites associated with historical trauma. Thermal imaging reveals distinct cold spots that cannot be explained by weather patterns or structural factors. Audio recording devices capture EVPs that, when analyzed spectrographically, show vocal patterns matching known historical figures. Yet these technological confirmations often contradict established scientific principles, forcing researchers to reconsider fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality and consciousness. The economic implications of haunted campgrounds warrant serious consideration. Many sites have successfully leveraged their paranormal reputations to increase business, hosting ghost tours, paranormal investigation weekends, and themed events that draw crowds far beyond their regular clientele. However, this commercialization presents ethical challenges, particularly when genuine supernatural activity affects staff welfare or camper safety. The balancing act between capitalizing on a haunting and respecting its authenticity requires careful navigation, as evidenced by the varied approaches taken by different campgrounds in managing their paranormal reputations. As we reach the end of our journey through America's most haunted campgrounds, we find ourselves facing a profound truth. These wilderness spaces represent far more than mere collections of ghost stories or tourist attractions. They stand as living monuments to our nation's complex relationship with nature, where civilization's borders blur into the unknown and humanity's impact leaves indelible marks on the landscape. The spirits that inhabit these spaces, whether residual energies, intelligent entities, or something beyond our current understanding, serve as reminders that our past refuses to remain buried, quite literally demanding acknowledgement from those who tread the same trails today. The stories we've explored tonight reveal patterns that transcend individual locations, painting a broader picture of how human experience leaves lasting impressions on the natural world. From the sophisticated hauntings of Gettysburg Battlefield Campground to the raw terror of Devil's Playground, each site teaches us that paranormal activity isn't random or arbitrary. Instead, it follows logical pathways shaped by historical events, geographical features, and cultural contexts. These patterns help us understand not just the nature of hauntings, but the very essence of human consciousness and its relationship with the wilderness spaces we inhabit. For those who manage and visit these haunted campgrounds, the supernatural element has become an integral part of daily operations. Rangers learn to interpret ghostly signals as weather warnings, managers schedule maintenance around known periods of heightened activity, and regular campers develop personal relationships with the site's spectral inhabitants. This normalization of the paranormal represents perhaps the most fascinating aspect of these stories: how humans can adapt to, and even embrace, the presence of the unknown in their outdoor environments. It speaks to our remarkable capacity to integrate mystery into the natural world, finding meaning and connection even in the face of fear. As we conclude our exploration, let us carry forward the lessons these haunted campgrounds teach us about history, community, and the unseen forces that shape our wild spaces. May we approach each new wilderness area we enter with open minds and respectful hearts, acknowledging that we walk in the footsteps of those who came before us. Whether you're a skeptic seeking rational explanations, a believer pursuing spiritual truth, or simply someone who enjoys a peaceful night under the stars, remember that every haunted campground tells a story, and each of us has the potential to become part of that narrative. Before we part ways until our next adventure into the unknown, I want to express my deepest gratitude for joining me on this journey through America's most haunted campgrounds. Your presence, whether as a regular viewer or first-time visitor to Whispers in the Wild, means everything to me and helps keep these important stories alive. If tonight's exploration has sparked your curiosity or sent chills down your spine, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this video with fellow seekers of the supernatural. Together, we can continue illuminating the shadows where history and mystery converge, one haunted campsite at a time. Until our paths cross again in the realm of the unexplained, keep your flashlights handy, your senses alert, and your courage strong. Who knows? The next time you set up your tent in your favorite wilderness area, you might just find yourself sharing space with more than just the living. Good night, and may your dreams be filled with wonder, and perhaps a touch of the supernatural.